All
Dave,
right.
can you find the share screen button
Good,
and you're going to
good.
share Joanne's
I
stuff?
got it. We're
Now, Rick's going to do this.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday night Habits of Health class. My name is Rick Green. I am a certified health coach, and tonight we have Joanne Breuer with us. We're going to be talking about week 4, and the topic is controlling our energy pump and managing the energy intake. So first off, I'd like to have Joanne tell us a little bit, because she's got an amazing story. I just want to say, you got an amazing story, and I want to show everyone your before and after. And if you can see that, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my goodness. Well, the larger person over there to the right, that was me at 220 pounds, and that actually dates back to 2006. So everybody can see me here on the screen, and it has been, I've spent pretty much my whole life over 200 pounds. So it's pretty amazing that I found this program 10 years ago. And my husband and I did the program together, and I just recently lost him, but together we lost 185 pounds in 8 months. And it was really, I had tried every program, Rick, that was out there. I mean, there isn't anything that I hadn't tried at the age of 56. I was desperate. Never desperate enough to do any kind of surgery or anything, but just desperate to find something that I could, this was not me. This 220-pound person at 5'3" who looked like a brick. This was not me. A size 2X, a size 22 pants. That wasn't the person that I really knew who I was. So I was desperate to find a program that worked. And so luckily enough for me, my daughter brought this wonderful program to me. And I remember this many, many years ago when I was in my, early 30s. But the program was always out of reach. And so when my daughter brought it, and my husband was weighing in at 300 and I was weighing at 220. And gosh, it was so amazing because I'd been on high blood pressure medicine since I was in my 30s. My husband, type 2 diabetes for 20 years. He was weighing in at 300. And this program just worked so perfectly for us. And the beautiful thing is that we did the same program together. He ate the same thing as I did. And of course, he lost 105 pounds in 8 months, but I lost 80 pounds. And but the most exciting thing, Rick, and I get tears in my eyes when I think about this, so everybody really understands. I mean, this is how I was all my adult life, over 200 pounds. And so the person that you see now, here I am at 66. I don't feel 66. I have so much energy, because this program, we're going to talk tonight about just what has made a difference in my life and how it can make a difference in your life, and it's the structure of eating. And that was what it brought to me and really changed my life. And so here I am, 56, I'm 66 now, and I don't know I'm 66. I have to be reminded of that. I just have so much energy and so full of life, and I'm just so excited every day to get up, and, I don't drag out of bed. I jump out of bed, I just have so much energy, and go to the gym and just work out and all those things that I never thought were possible. I always hoped, always hoped. And, I want to tell you something as we end this, because, my husband and I, when we started this program in 2006, we tried out our wedding clothes. Okay, now he couldn't get his pants on at all. I couldn't get my arms in my jacket or anything like that. And, in 1 year later, we lost all of our weight, and we got in our wedding clothes after 25 years of marriage and went on a second honeymoon in it. So, I mean, this is just amazing, life-changing. And don't tell me I'm 66. I think they say the new 60 is going on the new 30. Okay? So life is good. Life is really good. So I just really wanted to share that with you. So I don't know, Rick, you'd never heard my story, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, it's good. I think you're a teenager.
I like that.
Right?
I just don't know I'm 66.
Okay.
But well, I don't, it's just a number.
It is. It's just a number. So as it is, 66 years old, feel like you're 20 again or 30 again. Having the energy level that you have and being able to do what you want to do. And I think that's one of the things that you get from this program is the fact that you get your life back. And so, it's amazing. I'm sorry, I could ramble on, but I'm going to go ahead and do a share screen. And also, we're going to go ahead and get right into the program, okay? So let me get that up here right now. And you can see this. How about now?
I can see it. Okay.
All right, good. Okay.
All right. Let's get going here because this chapter is really near and dear to my heart because my husband was a type 2 diabetic. And so I really want to talk because I'm going to tell you something. This chapter 11 in Dr. Ray's Habits of Health. Go ahead and move to the next slide there because we're going to talk about it. This chapter we're talking about tells you there the habits of health to read chapter 6 and 7. Complete the lessons. I hope all of you have the books. I mean, Dr. Ray's Habits of Health and the Living a Longer Life workbook really is going to help you to make that life shift that I made back in 2007 when I finally became a full-time health coach and I wanted to pay this forward. So we're basically outlining things that you basically want to do for your study guide. And, I mean, I just know that everybody that's on this call tonight, you've got the habits of health. And the beautiful thing, this is the thing is, the habits of health is like your school textbook. And you really want to, just dive into it. But the beautiful thing about the habits of health that you don't, Dr. A's Habits of Health, that you don't have to do, you don't have to read it chapter by chapter by chapter. Go to wherever you want and, find something there that is going to help you. So, and this is where we were. I mean, calories in, calories out, right? And here we are, we basically went out and we were gatherers years ago, and now we're not, where most of us are couch potatoes. So, here's what's changed in the last 100 years. I mean, we're into technology. Let's just list them out there. So what's changed? Major labor-saving technology changes in the 20th century. Hello, kids don't go outside and play anymore. We have the industrial processing of food. Oh, we don't even know sometimes what's in our food. That's definitely changed. Even the caveman at least knew what they were eating when they were eating the berry. We're not really sure sometimes that we're eating the berry. Okay, fast food. Oh my gosh, fast food. That's just, and it's not only in our United States, but it's now around the world. You can get McDonald's now in any country. And then the association of culture of consumption. I think about that, and I think about, our cultures. It's not only our culture here in the United States, but our culture around the world. Everybody meets together and they're consuming some type of food. And the rise of the automobile-based way of life. Nobody walks anymore. I mean, no one walks anymore. No one thinks to park their car, over the next parking lot or over and walk in. And the introduction of radio and television, people are just spending way too much in sedentary positions. Instead of leading their own life, they're actually letting the television lead their life for them. And increased participation of women in the workplace and the workforce. The family's just not getting out as much as they used to. As a family, the family unit now, everybody's kind of fragmented, doing their own thing. So just not really active lifestyle at all. And that really affects us when we're not active. This is what happens. And, calories in, calories out. What do we do if we take in more calories? And our body just accumulates fat. And, that fat around the middle, that visceral fat, is definitely where it puts you prone for stroke. So, so how bad has it gotten? Oh my gosh, okay. Look at this. And you can see here over the years where we've actually increased the growth rate of obesity. I think they say there's 311 million Americans obese in the United States, and they're defining obesity now at 30 pounds overweight. So you can see what's really happened to us, 1986 all the way up to 2000. Oh my gosh, and not only obesity in children, but type 2 diabetes just rampant with young children. Some young children are actually born with it. And this is what's happening. The core principles of weight loss here, controlling your energy intake and managing your insulin pump. And, when we talk about our insulin pump, our insulin is the key role. It determines the energy from the carbs or from the fats that we take in. So controlling your energy intake, managing your insulin pump, you really need to understand how to manage your insulin pump, because it's going to be the driving factor as to whether or not you burn off those calories or you store them as fat. And this is, this might be a little bit confusing, but really when you stop and think of it, you have a baseline, which is your glucose, where you want to be. And then as you eat during the course of the day, your insulin, your baseline insulin moves. You want it to be static. You want it to be straight across the board, like the white line is there. You don't want it to be up and down, because when it peaks, what happens is when it peaks and then it comes back and it comes down to the low end, that's when you get, you eat 30 minutes later, we should be burning off our fat or our carbs that we're taking in. And what's happening is that people are hitting a low spot there, which is making them even hungrier. So when we look at this, we look at our baseline glucose, where we want it to be. That's usually 80 to 120 if you're checking your blood. And then your baseline insulin level, that's where you want it to be. Then your blood, your glucose, you can see what's happening as you're eating. You can see it go up and down. And, this is causing us some real problems because we don't really understand how eating. Some people tell me they're only eating once a day. And when they eat once a day, they don't even get these curves up and down. They're down and they're always constantly hungry. So go ahead and go to the next one there, Rick. So your weight loss and your health path, what you really want to do is you want to find a baseline insulin. As I told you, it's an 80 to 120. I don't know if a lot of people who aren't pre-diabetics actually check their blood levels to find exactly where it's at. But a lot of people might want to have an A1C to identify for themselves, what their blood fasting insulin is, so they know whether or not they're pre-diabetic. But you can see here your weight loss and your health path, your glucose, your insulin's response curve, your insulin, your blood glucose, your baseline, and the way you eat really truly affects how we get these highs and we lows. Go ahead, Rick. So again, your new weight loss and your health path, what you want it to be is to be static. And see, so if you're eating every 3 hours, which our program supports, if you're eating every 3 hours and you're having low glycemic meals, then you're going to have a real moderate, you're probably going to have a straight line across. You're going to have a little ups and downs, but you're not going to have as much as you would if you were eating high glycemic meals. We're going to talk about in a minute what a high glycemic food is, but you really want to keep all of your fueling snacks, all 6 of them during the course of the day, low glycemic, that's the GI, and fueling every 3 hours so that your baseline glucose doesn't go straight up, that it actually is just on a nice even curve. Okay? So stay on the bus, ways that I can make an environment of health for myself. So let's talk about that. Some things you can do at home. Creating a micro environment of health. Let me just tell you something. This is my little trick. I'm going to share something with you. If it's a trigger, don't bring it home. Okay? So, that's my number one thing I want to share with you. You can reduce your refrigerator. You can go in and you can look at whole fat. You can look at processed meats, sodas. Reduce your refrigerator. My refrigerator is empty. So I don't know what your refrigerator looks like, but my refrigerator is empty, but there's a lot of good stuff in there. Okay? So, you need to go ahead and, look at your refrigerator and see what's not healthy in there, and your pantry, get rid of some of the white flours, the rice, the hydrogenated oils, and refined cereals are just 46 grams of sugar. Get rid of the cookies. It's not that you can't have a cookie now and then, but go out and have the cookie, don't bring it home. So it's not in your pantry. So these are some of the things you can do to reduce your refrigerator, your pantry, get rid of some stuff. ready your bedroom. Don't bring food into your bedroom for certain, and never eat in bed, as like it says. Add brown rice. If you're diabetic, pasta is probably a better choice. Brown rice, olive oil is the only thing that I use. So these are some things that you can do. You can move away from bad to good. But you guys all know this. But the question is, who's doing the shopping and who's bringing it home? Okay? So who's doing the shopping? I have a lot of times that husband and wife complain, they say, well, she brought it home, but he brings it home too. So if it doesn't make it out of the store, you're going to have a better chance to actually creating that microenvironment of health. Go ahead, Rick. Activities I can do when I'm thinking of jumping off the bus. Okay, so we'll keep going here. All right, activities. All right, so choosing healthier, leaner foods. One of the things that you really need to be doing is you really need to learn how to read labels. You really got to read labels, because just because it says fat-free doesn't mean it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. So by focusing our efforts on eating healthier, leaner options, we can drastically reduce the calorie consumption while maintaining the nutritional content. To do this, we should focus on eating lean protein, again, in an amount, 7 ounces for fish, 6 ounces for chicken, and 5 ounces for fish, chicken, or pork. That lean protein, healthy oils, really, the only oil that I use is olive oil. That's just one of the best that I know of. Green vegetables and salads. But when you talk about green vegetables and salads, we want to make sure that we're talking about low glycemic vegetables, because that's going to have a lot to do with whether you store it as fat or whether you burn it off. So, and healthy snacks. And there are some healthy snacks out there. I'm going to tell you, there's some healthy snacks out there. There really are. You got to look, but I'm not talking about the 100-calorie snack that's got 46 grams of sugar. Okay, so there are some healthy ones out there. Meat and poultry, I don't know, buffalo's a little expensive, but if you're a hunter, elk and deer, 7 ounces, I talked about that. And this is cooked weight. You get some extra fats. Fats are really essential for your body. So it's really important that you never eliminate the fat. So always bring in the fats if you're allowed. When you do the leaner protein, you get the 2 extra fats. And if you're doing chicken or turkey or that, you get 1 extra fat. Don't eliminate the fats. Either have it on your salad, your leafy green salad, or, maybe cook with a little bit of olive oil in that. Then here you go, the lean beef steak roast. You don't get very much of that. You really want to make sure it's got a lot of fat in it, and that. I'm pretty much myself a fish or chicken person. So that's kind of it. I like, the other thing that's not on there, Rick, that I would tell you, I really like a lot of the soy meals. I like the Morningstar products and that. So I eat a lot of on the vegetarian side. So I eat a lot of that. So here we go. We talk about healthy fats and oils. As far as I'm concerned, the only one that I really use is the extra virgin olive oil. That's the one that I use as my fat. And here's some fats. You can do 5 black olives. You can do, you got to watch your salad dressings. Make sure they're under 5 grams of carbs. When you read you got to read labels all the time, Rick. You just got to read labels all the time. And 1 teaspoon of trans fat free margarine. You're better off to, I use a soy-based product. I can't believe it's butter, so I've made that change. So I've moved away. But sometimes you're even better just using butter. Here's your list of green vegetables and salads. And here we've got lowest carbohydrates. I mean, this is just right directly with our program. Lowest carbohydrates, moderate carbohydrates, highest carbohydrates, and that's really a factor when you're really wanting to burn and not store the fat, when you really want to burn the fat off. So you really want to make sure that and I'll tell you something, don't get into a rut when you're looking at your vegetables and your salads. Don't get in, really try to have a nice combination of vegetables for yourself. Try to mix your vegetables up, high, low carbs and everything like that. But you'll help your metabolism burn off the carbs and the calories and the fat if you do that. So, again, we've already talked about the brown rice and, white rice, white bread, that's just pure sugar. You know, you want to really make sure that you get whole wheat products. You want to get the brown rice. And as I said, for a diabetic, pasta is the better choice even over the brown rice. So, you know, think about that. Okay. Healthy fats and oils, we've kind of talked about this. 1 gram of fat contains 9 calories, twice as much as carbs and proteins. So you really have to limit your fats. And see, when you're going out to a restaurant and everything, it's really hard to know how they cook your food. So you have to be really careful with that when consuming a diet in high carbohydrates and fats. Our bodies will store the fat calories at an accelerated rate. Fat calories. This is interesting. Now let me read this. I want to make sure this is really interesting. So it says here, when consuming a diet that is high in carbohydrates and fat, our body will store the fat calories at an accelerated rate. Okay, we understand that. The fat calories are less effective at satisfying our appetite and giving us a sense of fullness than calories from protein and complex carbs. When I'm hungry, if I'm just feeling that I'm really hungry, and I'll go out and get maybe some string cheese or some kind of low-fat white cheese for my protein. And if I'm feeling really, that satisfies me. So but I think what a lot of people are doing, Rick, they're turning to carbs, and carbs just don't satisfy that hunger. So, I mean, if you're really hungry and you've already had your meal and you know, you feel like you need to have something else, you might want to turn to some extra protein. It's always the better choice over the carbs because of the way we store it. Okay. Again, some healthy snacks and some condiments. Here we've got celery, you know, a fruit flavored sugar-free popsicle is, you know, I'll tell you what, we talk about these optional snacks, a half cup serving of the sugar-free Jello. I used to make a bowl of it with the package, but my husband didn't do really well at portion control. So then I decided that I would just buy the individual portion control, because even though these are optional snacks, portion control is a factor here. So, you know, if you can't not eat the whole bowl of the sugar-free Jello, then just buy the individual ones and have them in the refrigerator so you can just limit yourself. Again, gum, 2 dill pickles, you got to be really careful of that if you're in the weight loss phase, because the sodium causes you to hold on to some extra water. Condiments, you know, people don't realize this and they get really carried away with the condiments, but condiments have carbs in them. So we really want to really look at our condiments and limit them. And well, I don't know about you, but you know, a condiment, milk falls in that category, but you get a lot more soy milk or cashew milk if you go than you do 1% because of the fat content in it. So when you're looking at these things, be sure that you're looking at how many carbs are in them before you make a decision that that might be a condiment. People see on the side, they'll say half a teaspoon of cinnamon and it says no carbs, but who's going to use a half a teaspoon of cinnamon? Most people use more and they get more carbs. So you got to be careful with portion control here. You really got to be careful with that, okay? All right. The key to healthy weight loss, the ability to master the amount of fuel you take in, calories out. We're talking about that, you know. And the thing is, this is the thing. Most people think, well, if I take in a few more extra calories, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work off those extra calories. But to lose a pound or even to burn off a pound, you're going to have to work off 3,500 calories. So that might not be the better choice. You might want to just go ahead and limit your portion control, master the amount of calories you're taking in, and the quality of fuel that you're using. You know, think about that. Too many people are turning to carbs, and carbs isn't going to satisfy them. They're actually going to convert themselves to fat, and they're going to store it, and they're not going to like themselves after that.
Excellent. You know, I think that all of these things kind of round out the menu of what we should have. And if we're having smaller incremental meals through the day, we should all balance the carbs and the proteins together. The one thing that we kind of touched base on, but really didn't talk about, was the fact of when we're talking about adding things like brown rice into our day, we also need to be thinking about how important is it to have fiber.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
fiber in our day is really kind of important. The fact that we can, the reason that it's important is because, there's a distinct difference between soluble and insoluble fibers. And so, the soluble, of course, dissolves in water, insoluble doesn't. But the thing that keeps us healthy and regular, of course, is fiber. And we can, we really need this kind of in our day all the time, because the real important thing with insoluble fiber is that that's kind of the rotor-rooter for our system, for our to have a healthy intestinal tract.
And I would just add to that too, Rick. You talk about regularity. I mean, we are what we eat. Okay. So we really, when you're choosing these types of fibers and, the soluble, the insoluble ones, think about that. Water is a great for regularity. Having water, we didn't talk about that because this isn't the chapter to talk about that, but water is so very important. And the other thing that's really good too, that we're not talking about here too, fiber is important, but another thing that you want to add as a habit of health, Rick, is a probiotic. Because a probiotic is really good for that regularity, and it's really a great habit of health. I know you agree. So you can do it with extra fiber and different types of fiber, but also a good habit of health would be a nice probiotic. I think that would be really good too. And people think regularity in most cases is a daily thing, but it's really not. Depending on what you're eating, it can certainly be different. So you might want to think about a little bit about some of your choices. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would definitely agree with you, Joanne, because as it is, we don't think about eating healthy until it comes time to, I need to lose weight. And then all of a sudden the focus changes. And now we're eating healthy. And you know what? After a couple, 3 weeks and maybe a month of eating healthy and feeling better, everything starts to balance out. And I don't know about you, but I've had some of my clients, they've kind of gone off the track. They didn't stay on the bus, and they ate unhealthy for a weekend or so. And guess what happens come Monday morning? The fact that they're not feeling so well.
No, they're not. I mean, we don't really realize, Rick, just how good we can feel until we feel good. We think that, how we were feeling before. I mean, I was lethargic at 220 pounds on a 5'3" frame. I didn't have much energy to do anything at all. And I tell you, I've been eating healthy for the last 10 years. And I'll tell you, I eat every 3 hours. And, I make good choices. I'm not perfect, but I made a decision that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life, whatever I had left, that I didn't want to spend it unhealthy. I wanted to stay at this weight. And that's where that secret comes in. So, that is it, is those healthy choices, but we have to make the healthy choices all the time. And I know I talk to my clients and they go, you mean I can never have a piece of pizza? And I said, no, let me explain to you what happened in 10 years of my husband and I eating healthy. We used to eat a extra large pizza, 2 of us, Rick. And then what happened is when we made a lifestyle shift, we go out now and we would have a salad and 2 pieces of pizza. And that's the lifestyle that we're seeing, but I'm not depriving myself of having it. I'm just looking at that differently and limiting the portion that we're talking about here, right? Calories in, calories out, right?
Calories in, calories out, and the fact that, before, it used to be, my thinking was eat it all.
Well, I live down here in Nevada. So let me tell you, when people go to Vegas, the first thing they think about is buffets, okay? You can eat healthy at a buffet. You don't have to worry about it. If you get it free, don't worry about it. You didn't pay for it anyway, so you don't have to eat it all and take it with you. But I don't understand that mentality. That escapes me. That's another thing my husband and I did. We go to buffets and stuff, and we get our protein and our vegetable, and it's so easy to eat healthy. If you think about it, it's so easy to eat healthy. But you have to make that decision that that's what you want.
Exactly, Joanne. And this is why we're having the Habits of Health class. It's so important that people understand why we do this. The fact that if you don't know, then you won't practice it. And so this brings a little bit more awareness to everything. And so
Oh,
I love what I do. I'll tell you what, this is
yeah.
awesome.
I'm not
And
doing anything else. I've been a health coach with Take Shape for Life for 10 years, and my life is just so great. And as I said, I recently lost my husband 4 months ago. Well, let me tell you something. He had the most awesome last 10 years after losing his 105 pounds. And if it weren't for Take Shape for Life and him getting his type 2 diabetes under control, I think I would have lost him sooner. So I'm more passionate about this than ever. And I don't know. I just my life. I love it. Don't you?
absolutely, I do.
And you guys, I don't care what age you are out there, come and join us. Come see how good you can feel.
That's right.
Thanks,
Well,
Rick.
thank you, Joanne. This has been a great presentation. I appreciate you coming in and helping us out. Great story. I love your before and after,
Yeah.
and your enthusiasm as well. So
Thanks.
until next time, this is Rick Green and Joanne Breuer. We've been doing the Habits of Health. This is week 4. Stay tuned for next week, week 5, in the second series of Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health. So I'll bid you all good night and hope to see you next week.
Night, everyone.
Good night.